Vintage Guitar people. Welcome to Have Guitar Will Travel, presented by Vintage Guitar Magazine. With your host, me, James Patrick Regan, otherwise known as Jimmy from the Deadlies. And today I was speaking with guitarist Nick Maxwell from the band Shurr Jr. In our conversation, Nick talks a little bit about his day job living in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, and then dives right into talking about his band, Shurr Jr., and how the band was formed with Nick's brother Frankie on drums and sister Kelly on bass. Nick discusses the music scenes in Sioux Falls and Omaha, Nebraska. Nick tells us about their album, Red Shelter, and how they went about recording it, and how they set up the record company to release it. Nick also explains his late father's role in the band. Nick tells us about his gear, including his father's Martin, which plays a big role on the album, and he goes into great detail on his pedal board. Nick also explains how the band is their family business and what he does for fun in South Dakota. To find out more about the band, you can go to their record label's website, maxtraxrecords.com. That's maxtraxrecords.com, and they're active on the socials as Shurr Jr. Band. That's SHURRJRBAND. Please subscribe, like, comment, share, and most of all, review this podcast. I'd really appreciate it. And please support Vintage Guitar Magazine and all the wonderful things they do for us guitar players, because they do so many wonderful things for us guitar players. Here's my buddy Nick. Nick.
Hey, how's it going?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing fine. Just took a little lunch break, and I'm ready for this. Yeah.
Oh my God. A lunch break from what?
I actually work over in recruiting for a tech company here in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. So
do you really?
Yeah, I do. Yep.
Does
so
it pay well?
Yeah, pays fine. Fine. I just graduated from college about a year and a half ago, so it's my first, big guy college out of a big guy job out of college. So
sure.
I'm kind of doing that. So yeah, it's all right. It's all right. Met some good people. So
yeah. So the band, that's what we're here to talk about.
Yeah.
Tell me about the band.
Yeah, so the band is formed with me and my oldest brother, Frankie.
Uh-huh. What's the difference in age?
So he is 7 years older than me. So I'm 24. He's 31.
Okay.
31, I think. Yeah. And my sister Kelly, she's 27 now.
Okay.
But yeah, so me and Frankie have been playing for, I think I started playing around 13, 14. And Frankie's been playing, honestly, every instrument since he was probably like 8. He was a big Bob Dylan guy.
Oh, wow.
So my dad was really instrumental when it came to that. He was a unbelievable guitar player. He played in the band 5th of May.
Okay.
In Omaha.
Uh-huh.
And so he was just unbelievable. So that kind of where music was kind of just around us all the time.
Sure.
That was kind of our roots, things like that. And so he introduced it to me. I'd always wanted to play. My big thing when I was like 5 was to be a big rock star. I'd walk around the house and pretend to be singing like with an air guitar and an air microphone, things like that. Sure. But yeah, so I started playing around 14. And Frankie was actually, I think he was living in Moorhead, Minnesota. And he came back and moved back home. So we were like, we should just start playing together. I mean, I wanted it. That was something that I really wanted to do.
Yeah.
And so he was actually in a band there, and his main instrument was guitar.
Okay.
But they needed a drummer, so he was like, I can play drums. I know how to play drums, so I'll just do that. And so we kind of formed a 2-piece band.
Okay.
Just us two.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, ever since then, probably about 2015, 2016, that's when 2016 we really started actually focusing in and actually writing our own stuff.
Uh-huh.
2015, we were practicing like Avett Brothers covers, and it's kind of simpler songs for me because I still wasn't, super in depth in guitar yet.
Yeah.
My knowledge was still kind of limited at that point, so I was still trying to get the grasp around it. But yeah, that's kind of the band. And Kelly kind of joined in 2021.
Uh-huh.
So she joined. We actually had her filling in as guitar player.
Okay.
And then we were like, we should just turn it into a 3-piece.
Uh-huh.
And just rock with her as a bass player. So that's kind of where it started forming.
And do you have more siblings, or is that it?
Yes, we do have more siblings. So Haley is a year younger, or 2 years younger than Frankie. And then we have another brother, Sam. He's our middle brother, so he's 28, 29. So yeah, it's a big family. It's a
and
big
he got
family.
left out.
Well, he actually he was playing in the band for a little bit. He was actually our fill-in bass player at one point. And so he was really detrimental, honestly, to the practicing of the new EP that just released, Red Shelter.
Yeah.
So he would actually run through those songs with us, and he came down and actually sat in for some of the recording for it and just listened. He's just a big music fan, just in general. And so he just wanted to come down and see how it's kind of done, like in a real studio. So he definitely filled in, and so he was very detrimental when it came to kind of that practicing for that.
Yeah. And your dad passed away?
Yes, he did. He passed away in 2016 unexpectedly.
Oh wow.
And so, we kind of, I would say that was kind of, my turning point for me being very much so into playing.
Yeah.
That summer, one of the cool stories that I have was he had built kind of a recording studio, his upstairs in our family's house. He had built a recording studio up there and was just making just all kinds of music, things like that. And he has songs that I think we have saved on, I think my brother's laptop that, never were released or anything like that. And they're beautiful songs, and he was a great, unbelievable guitar player, great singer. And so him and I we recorded, it was my first song that I had ever recorded. Him and I recorded it together.
That's cool.
Up there. And I wish I could tell you what the name of the song was or even how the song I forget, but like I have just a vivid memory of him and I think we sat up there. It was a weekend in May. It was 2 months before he had passed.
Okay.
It was a weekend in May, and we had sat up there for probably about 6 hours just like talking about it and then just kind of doing it. And that was when I was like, wow, this is something that I really need to get into. And then with him passing, and things kind of changed after that too. But that really, kind of pushed the needle for me in like, hey, this is something that you like have always wanted to do, but let's actually start doing it now.
Yeah. So you're in Sioux Falls, is that correct?
Yep, Sioux Falls. Yeah.
And your dad's band was in Nebraska?
In Omaha. Yep.
So what's the distance? Like just like the distance is in the middle, the Midwest, upper Midwest, and it's I'm just
exactly. Yeah, no, it's about like a 2.5 hour drive, so it's really not far. So I actually I try to go up there a good amount because I went to college in Lincoln, Nebraska, which is probably about 45 minutes away from Omaha.
Oh, okay.
So I tried to, I didn't have a car at that point, but I tried to see, as many shows as I could in Omaha. And because just the Omaha scene, the music scene there is really good.
Yeah.
And they always have really cool bands playing there. So I always try to check something out that's down there. They just had Hippocampus recently. So I went down there to see them. So the music scene's it's great.
Yeah.
It's that and like kind of Minneapolis that are like really big music scenes.
Sure.
For me.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And so from Sioux Falls to Minneapolis, how far is that?
That's about 3.5 hour, 4 hour drive.
Oh, that's not that bad.
Yeah. So it's not terrible.
Yeah.
But the traffic is a little hectic over there.
Oh yeah, of course.
So I try to try to stay away from that, but it's always nice to go down there. One of my buddies, he lives a few blocks away from First Ave, so I try to go down there and kind of walk past there. So.
Sure.
Yeah, it's always really cool seeing that.
Yeah. And what's the music scene in Sioux Falls?
I'd say, it's pretty good. It's growing. Mm-hmm. It's growing. There are still some places that, trying to get some shows. We actually have a show this week, tomorrow. We're playing at Full Circle, which is it's a smaller venue. It's actually a bookstore.
Okay.
But it's opened up into two, so it's a co-op. And so the second room is where people play shows. But I think the scene's pretty good. We've met some really cool people. It's still growing though. There are still a lot of bands that are coming in.
Sure.
Which is nice though, because that's the only way that you're going to be able to grow. Is if you have cool bands coming in and playing. So that's what I'd say kind of about the Sioux Falls scene right now.
And are you guys touring?
No, we're not. We're not right now. We're just kind of playing some shows that we can.
Yeah.
Just with, all of us kind of working full-time jobs right now. It's been a little bit hectic just trying to, get everybody's schedules together, especially with the new EP dropping. So we've been trying to, get some shows.
Yeah.
We have this April 3rd show, and then we're also playing in a festival here in Sioux Falls.
Okay.
But yeah, so our uncle, he lives in Omaha, and he's in a band, Little Brazil, there, and so he's been trying to set us up with some shows in Omaha, and we're trying to work things out, just logistically with everybody kind of working different work schedules.
Yeah.
So
well, you have this great EP, so
Thank you. Yeah. So we want to show people, and so hopefully we're going to be able to play a good amount more shows. During this next summer. I have a feeling that we're going to be able to. So
sure. You should be playing a lot of festivals,
yeah, exactly.
Coachella and all of them.
Yeah, right. Wouldn't that be sweet?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
There's no reason. I mean, Lollapalooza's coming back, I believe. So.
Yeah, 100%. I love Lollapalooza. I actually went there in 2021 for the first time, and it was an unbelievable experience.
Sure.
Yeah.
And so what did you use as far as guitars, or what are you using as far as guitars?
Yeah, so I use a Telecaster. I use a Fender Telecaster. That's my main guitar that I use. It's actually Frankie's guitar that our grandparents bought for him.
Oh, wow, right on.
So that's the main one that we use, and he's had it for, I think that was his first electric guitar that he had bought.
Okay.
But yeah, so that's the main one that I use, and then I also actually just recently bought a Jazzmaster, the J Mascis Jazzmaster.
Yeah.
So I've been using that a good amount. I played one show with it recently, but I think I'm gonna go back to the Fender. Nothing against the
Telecaster.
Yeah, I mean the Telecaster, yeah, but nothing against the J Mascis or anything like that. I love the sound of it. I think it fits kind of a better room for where we played.
Yeah.
And so I think this is gonna.
Plus, it's got all the Jazzmaster has all those knobs and switches and stuff.
It does, and sometimes in the heat of the moment, you can get a little confused on it. It happened to me just even when we were playing, because we practice in our mom's basement. So when we were playing the other day, I realized I had my pickups completely messed up, so I was trying to fix them during a song. So it was it was kind of a little bit stressful. So I told Frankie, I was like, I think I'm just gonna go back to what I feel most comfortable with.
Oh, sure, of course.
But for sure on the EP, that was what we played with the most. On that, and then we also, Nate Van Fleet, who was our studio engineer and producer, he kind of gave us a hodgepodge of different kind of guitars because he has a bunch of them. So he wanted us to try different ones.
Sure.
Each song. So that was kind of the main one that we had brought. And then as for other guitars that we have an ESP. That was my dad's ESP.
That's what I was going to ask you. What about your dad's gear? Where is that?
Yeah, so we got a red. I can actually grab it. It's this red guitar.
Okay.
It's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
I had to fill in for it in October with it. I hadn't played it, and this was the guitar I brought to college just to kind of make demos with. But it's pretty sweet. It's got a killer tone to it. I don't know what I know he kind of messed with it at some point, but it sounds killer. So, but yeah, so this is one of the guitars that we kind of a relic, I guess you could say. It's something that we're not gonna, smash in half.
Oh, no,
that, right? But yeah, so I really appreciate this guitar a lot. So we'll probably bring this to the next show just for backup. But yeah, this is what my dad had. And then he also had a Martin just acoustic guitar that I also brought to college.
Is that the guitar that you used on that one track?
Yes. Yep, that is the one that we used on that track, and then we also backed every single one of the tracks on that EP besides Ink,
Uh-huh.
we tracked with the acoustic guitar over it.
Oh, okay.
So we had it on everything.
Yeah, yeah.
Just to kind of get that fuller sound.
Yeah,
on
of
it.
course. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, and then in the end, that was the acoustic part that comes on the last song of the EP. That's where we utilized kind of that guitar as well. So
Yeah.
it's a very pretty sounding guitar.
And what are you using for amps?
So for amps, I'm using a Fender. Oh man, I forget the name of it. It is a Fender Blues.
Yeah, Blues Junior.
Yep, Blues Junior. That's what we mainly use. We have a stack that we have a Marshall head. That was my dad's, which is that thing is sweet.
And loud.
And really loud, loud. But a lot of the venues here, they're pretty small, so it's probably best to use that tinier one.
Get ready, because when you start playing other places, they're going to tell you to turn down. Don't even think about bringing a big amp.
We actually just played in January, and they were like, "Hey, what are the chances that you might be able just to turn down just a little bit?" I was like, I can give you maybe about like a 6, but I don't know if I'm going to go any lower than that.
Yeah, exactly.
Like this is kind of the tone that we like.
Yes.
But yeah, we like loud guitars.
Of course.
Yes, yeah, it's always the best. But yeah, that's kind of our gear right now. Yeah, but we got also. I brought up my pedal board just in case. I don't know if you wanted to look at it.
Sure, let's take a look.
Or anything like that. Yeah.
This is audio only, but we're going to describe it for people.
Yeah, I can for sure. So right now I have. So I obviously have a polytuner going on right here.
Yeah.
But right now we got a double preamp. Rocking right now. That's my second one in. I always run a compressor, just right through, and just to leave that on.
Yep.
I just like.
You like the sound. You like the feel.
The feel, the attack that it kind of gives, and then we always run an amp. We run a Rat. For the record, we ran mainly a majority of the time we ran a Tube Screamer, and then the Rat as well on top of it.
Okay.
Really like distortion on that.
But there wasn't a lot of distortion though. That's what's cool about it.
Yeah, and the thing about it is that I don't like it when it's like super, almost to the point where you can't even hear it anymore. And that was what kind of moving on. That's kind of what I kind of faced with this. We have the Big Muff.
Yep.
So we had actually just bought that I think a year ago, and so. When we first played it, I was still trying to figure it out. It's heavy.
Yeah.
It is heavy.
Oh, yeah.
And it is loud, and sometimes it can just drown out some things. So I actually just figured out about 2 weeks ago, I put it back in. We were running the Jack White plasma pedal. So we were originally running that, but we actually just recently put back in the Big Muff. I had the Telecaster, and I was like, I'm gonna run this, and I'm gonna figure this out because the Beths, they have a live like recording of them playing, and they're using the Big Muff on that. And I was like, how are they getting that sound? Like the way that sounds so cool.
Yeah.
So I actually just figured out kind of where I'm supposed to be at on this.
Yeah.
But it's sweet. I love it now.
Yeah.
And that's kind of my big, like, when it comes down to, I think, Drowning, like the chorus, we'll play that and we'll kick that on and run through the ending of that. And then for kind of our weird pedals, we are running the Harmonist. The Boss Harmonist, and it's pretty cool. I'm also just figuring that one out too. It's pretty weird. But yeah, we're using it for a newer song.
Sure.
That we have, and there's a guitar solo where it's kind of a weird guitar solo, and it's a lot slower than what we usually play. And so we kind of turn this on, and then you can just make like alien noises, things like that. So I've been making weird stuff with it. And then the last pedal that I have running through this is our Dispatcher pedal. I bought this about a year and a half ago. I just like I wanted a reverb pedal as well as kind of a delay pedal.
Yeah.
And so I think it's just great. It kind of and it has that loop where you can just leave something running for ambiance the entire time.
Sure.
And so I really enjoy that. I kind of like it when, when it comes down to playing, I like when there's kind of some ambiance and some.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe a little bit less talking. I like to talk to the crowd, but a little bit less talking, and then just kind of like, oh, what song are they going to play next?
Yeah.
And then it kind of goes in. So that's something that I've really, really enjoyed.
Who makes the compressor that you're using?
We run a Boss compressor.
Okay. Cool.
Yep.
Right on.
Yep.
Is there a music store in Sioux Falls where you go?
Yeah, so we usually go to just straight up Guitar Center. We usually just go over there. And then me and Frankie usually like to buy our stuff from Sweetwater. So that's where I got the Dispatcher pedal. And then my brother bought, I think he bought the Big Muff there. And then we both pitched in to buy the Plasma one on Sweetwater as well. So Sweetwater is kind of our main for pedals. And then we'll go to like Guitar Center to try out pedals and things like that if they have it in stock. But any of kind of like the weird stuff, that's where we're kind of like, that's where we want to get it. Yeah, for sure.
And how'd you meet Nate, and how'd you get your record deal?
Yeah, so with Nate, he had played in my uncle's band.
Okay.
He was their drummer.
All right.
And he was, recording stuff already, and he had been kind of recording the demos for Little Brazil's, I want to say their third album. He had been doing the demos for it, and so I had met him 2019. I went down there and stayed with my uncle, and just he has a recording studio in his basement, so I kind of just started recording some demos, and Nate helped me out doing that. And we could just kind of connected just talking about just different kind of music. He saw the tattoo on my inner arm of Pine Grove, and so we talked about that album for a long time. And so he was like, if you ever want to like make full band, like anything like that, I've got a studio that we can go ahead and run that through. So let's just hit me up whenever and let's do that. So I was like, hell yeah, let's do it. And so probably the following summer, it was during COVID, we went down there, masked up everything, and made sure that, we tested negative for COVID, went down there, and we recorded the first two songs, and that's Desania and Uncool that we had recorded down there. So that was actually just me and Frankie that went down there.
Okay.
We did everything in his like little studio that he had. And then we told him, hey, we're going to keep writing. We have, some songs that are booked up already. So like, hey, if we get like 6 songs, can we come back? And he was like, let's do it. But next time, let's do it at ARC, another recording company. And then we'll get the full thing. And we were like, all right, let's do it.
Sure.
So the last time we saw him, because he's out in LA now.
Okay.
But he helped us create that record. And I want to say we did all the tracking for it in about 2-3 days. So we did 6 songs in 2 or 3 days. So me and Frankie made sure that we were real tight when we came. And it was. It was. Thank you. I appreciate it. It was a really cool experience being in there. I had never really been in. I'd been in kind of recording studios, but nothing to that kind of cool size. It's Bright Eyes' studio, so it was like, wow, this is sweet. This is awesome. But it was a surreal experience, and Frankie did all the drum takes there, and then after that we actually did all of the vocals back at his studio. The following week, and then I did those in 2 days. So it was a really cool experience.
That's great. And how about the record deal? How'd you get the record deal?
So that is actually in honor of our dad. Okay. So Max Trax is our dad was the one who actually had started it, and then after he passed, our uncles wanted to take it over and kind of build it into the local kind of Omaha bands that they have. And then the Sioux Falls bands, they were like, if you guys ever want to be on it, just let us know. But that's kind of where it stemmed from. Yeah, so the writing, the signature on it, were like the Maxtrax logo. That's actually Frankie. He was the one who wrote out the logo, and yeah, so it's a little like family, little business. So
yeah, of course, that's great. That's fantastic. Do you guys have management or an agent or anything like that?
So I will say we don't have any management or anything like that, but I would say our older sister Haley, she's actually the one who is kind of our manager. She has access to our emails, things like that. So she has been kind of setting things up for us, and just business decisions, things like that, we kind of run it past her just because she's in sales and marketing. So it's like
this is completely a family operation.
Yeah, 100%.
Right
so
on.
we try to keep everything kind of close in the family. So and you can always trust your siblings. So
of course.
It's one of those things. Oh, you hope. Yep, 100%.
And what's it like being in Sioux Falls like right now? Like as far as like getting around, is there snow everywhere or?
No, it's actually raining out right now.
Okay.
It's been, I think it's been in probably the 50s, 60s the last week. Yeah. And now it's starting to get a little bit dreary again. Yeah. I think it's going to rain the next few days. And tomorrow for our show, I think it's going to rain. Unfortunately, it's going to be a little bit chillier. But we're stuck in the 40s right now, 40s, 50s. So it's not terrible.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
And what is it like when you have to drive around in the snow? What's that like?
It's not bad. I think, my mom always says when snow's on the ground, people tend to drive stupid. So that's usually kind of what happens.
Yeah.
But, it's not terrible. And plus, too, I luckily, I only have to work. My company's just right down the street from me.
Right on.
So it's literally like a 4-minute drive for me. Okay. So it's not terrible at all. And then my brother, he works down the street as well, so he just it's a quick drive. So yeah, it's not bad. And when it's snowing like that out, I usually try to kind of stay away from that.
Sure.
I don't want any part in that. So yeah.
And what do you do for fun?
So I really enjoy sports a lot.
Yeah.
I grew up, a Nebraska football fan, Husker fan, and our dad was a huge football fan, Nebraska football fan, and I just like watching sports. So Nebraska football has been my I guess I could say the bane of my existence, but I really enjoy it. But yeah, so that's kind of my main thing that I do. I really just enjoy watching sports, with March Madness going on. I'll watch the Final Four. Yeah. But yeah, that's kind of my big thing. Hang out with friends and watch sports probably. Yeah. So yeah.
Right on. That's great.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, it's been great talking to you. I really appreciate you taking this time.
Yeah, 100%. It was great meeting you.
And how, if people want to get, they want to find out about the band, they want to listen to the music, where do they go?
Yeah, for sure. So you guys can go to our Instagram page, which is just Shurr Jr. Band. And then you can also go to maxtraxrecords.com, which that will kind of have our bio, things like that. And that will take you to our Bandcamp, which is also just Shurr Jr. And then we have a Facebook page as well. That is Shurr Jr. Band. So you can find us there, and then you can find us on Spotify.
And Shurr Jr. is spelled SHURRJR.
SHURRJR period. But so that is how it's spelled. And then you can find us on Spotify, Apple Music, kind of any streaming service, YouTube. We have a YouTube music video out.
Okay, cool.
For our single Ink. So you can find us there as well. But yeah, that's kind of our main places right now.
Okay, great, fantastic, thank you.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
Thanks. You too.
Okay. Bye.
Yep. Bye.
Thanks for listening to Have Guitar Will Travel. You can catch up on all the things I'm doing at thedeadlies.com, and I'm on all the social media platforms as well. And please support Vintage Guitar and all the wonderful things they do, because they do many, many wonderful things for us guitar players. Thanks. Please subscribe. Please tell a friend, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye, guys.